Oh, Jesus.
Welcome to HorrorTube, featuring The List of Doom.
Yeah. That's how you begin a fucking episode. Yeah. It's HorrorTube, baby.
You get the birds chirping in the background, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the birds are chirping. It's Saturday morning. Josh got coffee. I got an energy drink. It's outside. It's August.
I've made my great return.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They have returned.
They have returned. We're ready for a fucking episode today.
Oh, yes.
As everybody knows, this is our unscripted little bop that we do every other week.
Unlike Horror Wars, our
Right.
main show.
Yep.
And all your streaming audio services,
Yeah.
I believe.
We announce what we have smoked before we go into things.
What if that was just a giant rattlesnake you could hear? That.
And it was coming to fucking kill us? Yeah, it'd be great. So, I brought Wi-Fi. Uh-oh.
Ice cream cake.
Ice cream cake was Josh's. Today, our ending segment is going to be August 24th was a wild day.
Yes.
But we're going to get into that at the end. Because today's episode is our favorite horror kills. Well,
Deaths in horror,
Deaths
whatever.
in horror. Our favorite deaths in horror. And the reason why it's featuring the list of doom,
Because we had to make a list of doom.
because we had to make a list of doom. So, we're going to present to you our favorites. This is subjective.
Yeah.
This is, again, if you have your favorite list, that is perfectly fucking fine.
Which you can share in the comments.
Which you can share in the comments. We want to hear your favorite horror movie deaths as well. Everybody's allowed their opinion. Is this the greatest horror movie deaths? No.
Also, shout out to Dead Meat, because they're a YouTube channel usually based around the kill count. They count every death in horror films.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Shout out to them, because you can definitely check out their shows and kind of get better feels for movies and shit. But again, keep in mind, this is our favorite deaths in horror, not yours, not the Pope's, not Mary Magdalene's.
I wonder what the Popes would do.
It would be all homemade movies. Anyway,
Sheesh.
so we're not gonna do the Chills tribute, because I'm not gonna do that for every single one. But I do have 10.
I have just one honorable mention, but hey, do your thing, bro. We can still talk about them. I'm
Okay.
curious.
All right.
Now I wonder how many I'll know and how many not. You know what I mean? Because
right.
I can't wait to even hear you explain them if you don't know them, or if I don't know them.
So number 10 for me is going to be what I call the ending. And it's from this little movie in 1973 called The Wicker Man. Imagine going into a fucking effigy like that and being put on fire alive while motherfuckers are holding hands
And singing joyfully.
and singing joyfully at your demise. What the fuck?
And he's just
What the
cursing
fuck?
them too while he's
Yeah.
up there. And there's animals in cages in that bitch.
Yep.
They're all sacrificed. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that ending is something that will stick with you if you've seen that movie. And number 9 for me is just simply dubbed Family from The Mist in 2007.
Oh, yep.
when
That's
he
definitely there.
kills them all.
That is definitely, yeah. I kind of forgot about that one. That's definitely honorable mention. So yeah, holy shit. That is probably one of the biggest, probably top 5 downer endings in the fucking world.
Yeah.
That is some crazy shit. My jaw dropped the first time I saw that film.
Yeah.
Stephen King also wrote that book for that. So.
Yes, he did.
That is some,
Yep.
pretty stacked cast as well.
Yeah, it's super duper stacked cast. Number 8 for me is something that stuck with me when I first saw it, and I was young when I saw this, and it's just called Jesus Wept from Hellraiser 1987. When those fucking hooks come out and get him and just rip his skin apart, and he says Jesus wept, like, yo, he's saying that he's this big dog motherfucker, like he's taking all this shit and Jesus was a pussy. And then he gets ripped apart. Like, that shit was wild.
Yeah.
That shit was absolutely fucking wild.
He's also in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Number 7 for me is a classic scene. Absolutely classic. It's going to go down as one of the best horror scenes of all time, and that is the body geyser from A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Depp in the inverted room.
If I was gonna go more than the one honorable mention, that was gonna be another one on my list.
Gotcha.
That is 100%. Freddy Krueger, a lot of his came to mind.
Oh yeah. How could they not?
You know what I mean? Even the marionette strings with the veins have always been like, that's one of the coolest shots. Him above that tall ass building.
Yeah. How could they not? And then this is going to be my number 6, which is going to lead into your, I call it The Beginning, and that is from Ghost Ship 2002.
That one I don't know. I can't claim that I know that one.
They are on the ship, and this fucking wire gets cut.
Oh, is it like electrocute?
No, and it cuts everybody clean in fucking half on the ship.
Oh, wow.
Except for this little girl, because it hits mostly everybody at their waist or their shoulders or whatever. She's dancing with the fucking captain, and he gets like his whole shit lopped off, and she's turning around, seeing all these people falling in half to the ground.
I've never even heard of this movie.
Yeah, the movie itself was fucking trash.
Oh, really?
The movie itself was beyond trash, but that beginning sequence is probably one of the best beginning sequences in all of horror.
Oh, I just thought of another honorable mention. Can I do a number 7 and then my number 6?
Yeah, do a number 7 and a number 6. That's fine.
Okay. So what my number 7 would have been is the laser hallway from Resident Evil.
Oh.
That because it made me think of that fucking opening. That was probably one of the best scenes that's talked about and I can enjoy from the Resident Evil movie franchise is the laser hallway.
Right.
Which and then my number 6 now? Yeah.
Yeah, you're number 6.
And that would be from 28 Weeks Later, when I forget the characters' names, but the wife is strapped down on the table, and the dude gets the rage virus, and he beats the ever-living hell out of him. That's probably one of the most brutal, like, realistic scenes with that. Yeah. And I just remember the first time I watched it, made me feel sick.
Yeah,
I was like, what nasty. The fuck?
It was fucking nasty.
Yeah. So that's my number 6.
Okay. So we're hitting top 5 territory now.
The list of doom.
We're hitting the list of doom, baby. And I would like to let everybody know I am a horror film watcher of over 20 years, going on 30. I'm not saying that to say, ooh, I know more than you, because a lot of these are kind of known. There's only going to maybe be a couple that aren't as well known. Mm-hmm. But they are graphic. They depict a lot of crazy shit. So this is just basically like a trigger warning. You know, I just want to make sure that we know that we're dealing with horror here, and it's subjective. And
holy balls, yours sounds so intense.
Oh, because there is one on here that is very hard to talk about. Okay. It's like and it is more of the niche one.
Okay.
So I just wanted to kind of give like a little heads up. That's all I wanted to do. So number 5, speaking of heads up, I'm going to go with Head from Hereditary 2018.
I like that you gave him these cool old titles. And I was just like describing the scene.
Well, that's because, let's keep it real with the audience here. We were going to do kind of like a free form originally. Like, so I was titling them stuff so that way when I decided to bring them up, because like that would be my way of segueing.
Yeah.
Because that's how I like to do stuff. So if you were to say something like Head, or you were to say body part, or you would say this, then I would segue into the next one.
Jesus, holy shit.
So that way we could keep the conversation flowing. That's literally it.
Hey.
But I decided to keep the titles because it'll give more clarity to people, you know, as they're
It's like when Quentin
listening.
Tarantino has chapters. That's what it feels like.
So Hereditary 2018. If you haven't seen it, I know the movie's divisive. I know that it's controversial and blah blah blah
It's
blah.
always
whatever
in some kind of top 10
It's
list.
Top 10, but it is in a top 10 list. That's fucking wild.
Like all the time.
So many people hate the movie, but it's in like so many people's favorite.
I didn't even know
movies.
it got hate like that.
Oh,
I thought
it
that was one of
gets
those
a ton of hate.
Everyone loved kind of films.
Same with Midsommar. Ari Aster for some reason gets a lot of hate, and I don't know why.
I think it's because the movies don't explain themselves.
No, you
know what
gotta
I mean?
you gotta
Like,
fill in some blanks.
Or
You
just
gotta
accept that it's gonna. You just gotta handle the part that horror's not always just gonna be like so simple. It's not just a slasher film or, you know, like a Saw-esque. We're gonna have to think outside the box and just be okay with it.
Right. So yeah, and that mother, the mother in the movie, her scream,
Some of the best acting.
Yeah,
in
dude,
horror.
Toni Collette, man, Jesus fucking Christ, she killed it in that movie. What's your number 5, sir?
Mine is a personal fave. It is from one of the most hated films that I love.
Oh God,
It's the liquid nitrogen head smash from Jason X
okay,
from 2002.
all right.
That is one of probably early of me watching horror, of one of the coolest deaths that didn't like freak me out. I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. You can like be basically frozen. It taught me science. I was like, oh shit, okay, liquid nitrogen does that, huh? But to me, I love it because people shit on that film so hard, but it's got so many good scenes.
Right.
That's a film that I love that everyone hates. It's in the archives of this channel.
It is. It is.
So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is going to be a surprising one for you. But given the context of what happens and the reason why it's happening, and you're going to know immediately what it is as soon as I say it.
Okay.
Number 4, The Rack from Saw 3,
You mother trucker.
2006.
Oh, that's so awesome. Dude, one of the most brutal scenes in horror.
And the fact that it was the guy that did the hit and run on his child.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There was a lot of emotion.
And I was going to say, probably a lot of parents.
It's number 4.
Yeah. That is some terrible shit.
And it's a very hurtful moment. The sounds.
And one of the craziest part, a lot of people hate that film.
I know, because that was the quote-unquote derailment of the Saw franchise to a lot of people.
That is my favorite Saw out of all of them.
And that's the thing. That's where this one's divisive, because just like Ari Aster, a lot of people say Saw 4 is the end of the Saw franchise being great. A lot of people say Saw 3 is. I think after Saw 4 is where you can really say that
it just went
off
weird.
the rails. So yeah, man, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is The Rack from Saw 3, 2006.
High five that shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's.
I'm not
wild.
kidding.
That's dope.
It's one of.
Is that why you did the audible gasp?
Yeah, it is because the context in that film and who it was, like Rob said, and the fact that person, normally you're used to in Saw films, the person, even though it's a trap, they kind of have to go through it themselves.
Yeah.
To survive.
Yeah.
This guy couldn't do anything. His fate totally rested in the hands of the main character.
Yep.
In Saw 3. I'm not even going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. And they show it the whole time. And the screams, the aesthetic. It's fucking, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking...
I'm so surprised that Saw was in your top 5. Holy shit.
My number 3. This is going to be more of a Not a lot of people know about this movie.
Okay, I'm interested now because
It's on Shudder.
Okay.
And it's on the high seas. It's not the greatest of horror movies, but it has quite possibly, if I want to rank it in my top 3, then it's got to be something. It's called The Axe Facial. And in this movie, it's called The Furies. It's from 2019. It's an Australian horror movie where women are kidnapped and they are dubbed beauties. And they have a counterpart beast that is a serial killer.
What the fuck?
And the beauty's fate is determined by if the beast lives or not. Like, they're attached to these beasts, these serial killers. And there's this one. It is one of the most brutal fucking things, one of the most well done makeup. He literally takes his fucking axe and grinds it onto the side of her face and starts hacking and peeling the fucking face off.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. And it is graphic. It is so graphic. And the scene lasts for like 2 minutes.
Ugh.
It is beyond crazy. And it deserves to be, if you've seen it, in a top 3.
I was gonna say I've never even heard of this film.
It's fucking sickening.
Crazy.
It is sickening, disgusting. Like,
is this one of those movies that goes from 0 to 100?
again,
really
like I said, it's really not that great of a movie because they don't go into detail as to why the beauties are linked to the beasts. They don't go into detail as to how things are really done in this game. They leave room for a sequel, but we haven't heard anything yet of a sequel. So go into it with an open mind, I guess. It's a weird movie if you want to see it. Like I said, it's on the Yars. It's on Shudder.
Okay.
It's an okay film. I'm not going to say that it's horrible or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's an okay film.
I was
It
gonna
does
say,
its
don't
job.
go in expecting too much, right?
The kills are pretty good, but that one kill that was it right there. That was where the budget of the movie went.
Oh, okay.
So what's your number 2?
3.
Yes, you're number 3.
Yes.
Sorry.
There you go. It's one that I think is one of the most famous scenes maybe in horror is for Final Destination 2, the highway scene.
The logs.
Yep.
Yep.
Just all the car crashes and
All the
everything
car
because
crashes,
there have been plenty of pileups in the real world, and that caused a lot of phobia.
That caused so much fucking phobia, dude.
Even to this day, people still take pictures of trucks carrying logs, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Nope, and they go into the other lane and shit. Yep. Yeah, hell yeah.
I think that's one of the most iconic scenes that you could probably put in like a top 50 horror.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think it would go in the top 50.
I mean?
Yeah, 1000%. Highways are always dangerous.
Yep.
And that part right there exacerbated it because that's something that really could go wrong on a fucking highway setting.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep, that is probably another good blend of real world horror and then exaggerated horror in one scene.
Yeah.
Which again, probably the budget went into that scene as well.
Yep,
Let's be
exactly.
real.
All right.
Because Final Destination 2 is not the best film.
No. All right. My number 2
Number 2
is Tied.
Oh shit.
My number 2 is Tied. They're from 2 of my favorite horror movies. Even though this one movie's not listed in my top 10 favorite horror movies, it's to me the best of that series. And it's the third one of that series. And then the other one is the first one of that series. So, tied for second place is The Vane Puppet from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Yep.
That scene is absolutely fucking disgusting to me because I hate vein play.
Same.
I hate
stop.
I hate finger play. I hate teeth and I hate body part torture.
Yeah.
Body part torture to me is like some of the worst fucking shit. And I think that's why in the Furies that axe is number 3 to me because it's a body torture.
I think that's why Human Centipede gets a lot of people freaked out, especially the second one.
Yeah. But the vein puppet, just him being...
Did I bring that precast? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't remember. No, it was actually in the podcast.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
You talked about it, saying that, iconic horror movie, blah, 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 and you were talking about that.
Yeah.
And I kept that shit in. Just the way that it was done, seeing the veins go up, seeing it like him walking to the end of the building and committing suicide and shit. Like, oh my fucking God. That scene is nightmare fuel to this day.
Agreed.
And it was 1987. Tied with that is the opening sequence of Scream from 1996. One of the most iconic fucking horror deaths of all time. Casey Becker.
I thought that was going to be your number one.
Drew Barrymore, right?
Exactly. It's one of the most disturbing Scream scenes because she's hanging by her intestines.
Yep.
The bitch got hung by her fucking intestines.
Sorry.
Thank you. My pleasure.
My pleasure.
Like, that is fucking sick. That is sick. You didn't see all of it, but her being chased down and the vocal cords and the parents finding out, the fucking popcorn, the sequence leading up to it with the favorite scary movies and the trick answer with Mrs. Voorhees, all of it. Seeing Steve get gutted, well, not seeing it happen, but hearing it, because that noise was just, Those two deaths to me, if number one wasn't number one, those would be tied for first. But number one's number one for a reason.
Okay.
So,
how about for number one, for the number ones? Why don't you do obviously your tied one? I'll do my number.
Well, no,
one
that was my tied. I wanted to keep you guessing.
Okay.
So number one for me is number one for a reason. It's not tied. It is a number one.
Okay.
If my number one wasn't number one, the number twos that were tied would be number one.
All right.
Right. But my number one is number one for a reason. And I didn't want to say anything because when I told you precast that my number one was tied, that was actually my number two.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of...
I was like, oh, shit.
No, I wanted to throw you for a loop.
Okay.
Because number one is number one for me. So...
My number two.
What's your number two, sir?
It's actually a film that's featured on our Hidden Gems.
Ooh.
And it's one of my favorite downer endings. Ooh. It is Burning in the Sun from 30 Days of Night.
Oh, God.
It's not a horrific scene.
No, it's not.
But it's one of the saddest, to me, one of the saddest scenes ever. He sacrificed himself.
Emotional as fuck.
You know what I mean? And he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And it's enough to bring some tears, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I cried.
Yeah, and he just sat there.
And accepted it.
Accepted it.
No dramatic turn. Like, I'm telling you guys, gals, non-binary pals, if you get a chance, please watch that film. That's why it's in our Hidden Gems.
I love that you managed to say that every horror tube without realizing that you're going to say it.
Oh, shit, yeah. I gotta throw in the catchphrase, bro. It's one of the best. But, just that film is so good, and just that scene alone is enough. And that's got some pretty brutal kills in it itself.
Yeah, it
that
does.
Movie. Sheesh.
Yeah. Our top fives are fucking top tier, man.
I agree.
We've been getting some really banging
Hell.
lists.
Yeah.
And
Tier list content.
I told him we would be great at tier list content, but no, our list of doom in Horror Wars for the last 5 episodes of Horror Wars have been just fucking top notch, man. Super duper.
Hell yeah, I agree.
Super duper. My number one.
I don't know. I feel like I should go first because I feel like yours is gonna be
craziest shit imaginable.
Because I don't want mine to be all oh.
It's up to you, bro. You lead the way on HorrorTube.
No, I can't wait anymore. I can't wait. I want to know.
All right. So my number one, I'm just gonna call it Tortured to Death.
Okay.
And it's from a movie that came out in 2006 from the Masters of Horror. It was banned in the United States and most of the world.
Holy shit.
Takashi Miike directed it, and it's called Imprint.
I've never heard of this film.
The Tortured to Death is basically a brothel and the head mistress of the brothel, if they don't perform right or if they don't do what they're supposed to do, she tortures them. And she's a disgustingly sick fucking bitch. They basically tie her up in shibari, hang her from the fucking ceiling, and she's tied up like a pig with her hands behind her back, her feet tied up, everything. And she takes out these little fucking ice picks and drives them into the fucking fingernails. And you see it full on.
Oof. Jesus.
And
dude.
the scream, she sounds like a pig being butchered slowly because she's gagged. And there's no music, there's no nothing, there's onlookers, and it's just piece by piece. And they show every fucking bit of it. Like when the fucking nail goes in and
God,
the blood
dude.
comes out on the sides and shit and
we
fills
don't
up
need
the
all
fingernails. Yeah.
And what's this called?
Imprint.
I'm glad I've never seen that shit. I think I'm gonna keep that on my I'm never gonna watch list. What the fuck?
And it basically,
Oh my god, dude.
it goes on for about like 15 minutes.
That is fucking wild.
And then finally, after getting it in the face, in the mouth, I'm not going to go into more, but she gets strangled and then hung at the end of everything.
Jesus Christ.
How bad did she perform? God damn.
Right.
My
I
God,
told you
bro.
my number one was my number one for a reason.
Holy fucking balls.
And I told you I was given a warning at the top 5 for a reason.
Man, holy fuck, dude. That is
more of a warning.
holy shit.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna give that a grading of pass. I've never even seen it. Pass.
Yeah, the Masters of Horror movies were something different because they were on HBO. They were only about like an hour long.
Holy shit.
And John Carpenter did stuff. I think he had cigarette burns or some shit like that. But there was a lot of horror movie directors. It was like 3 seasons long. Really superb fucking show. But when I got on Vudu one day, season 1, season 2, and season 3 were on sale for like $5 a pop. And I was like, okay, look, I'm going to go into this not expecting to see Imprint because Imprint's in season 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's fine, whatever. And it was fucking there. I was like, oh my god, this is worth $5. And I've had the movie for a couple years because the only other time I saw it was when I did it on the Yars back in 2006 because I didn't have HBO.
Oh, shit.
So when the movies came out, I actually have like burned discs of them from 2006.
When they were banned?
Well, no, that one was the only one that was banned. That one, and it's still banned in a lot of fucking places.
That's
that
crazy.
one, that Imprint is.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of banned movies.
Yeah, that don't deserve to be banned. But that's a
completely different podcast.
Hold on. Just go ahead. What's your number one?
So my number one is holy shit, like tame compared to yours. Is probably one of your favorite scenes you've ever talked about. Is the raining blood scene from Evil Dead 2013. One of the most badass scenes.
Yeah, definitely one of the most badass scenes. Okay. I didn't include that because it is one of my favorite cinematography death scenes because of the way that it's done. But I was going for brutal favorite. Like,
Hey. And that's the fun part about this show.
right, and that's the fun part about the show. And that's the fun part about our list of doom. Because even though it's favorite deaths in horror, it's still open for interpretation.
Yep.
So I went with more brutal deaths because I know more brutal deaths. And that's not me saying anything, Again, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm the king of fucking horror. No. Yours were very well put together.
Thanks, man.
And I love yours. Yours, to me, and I say this a lot, and I haven't really said it in a while, but because your horror knowledge is getting so vast, I'm not as surprised by some of them anymore. But I am when you order them in specific ways.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not surprised that they're on your list. I'm like, oh, cool, they're on the list. But number 2, Just like you with your surprise of number 5 being The Rack for me, you didn't think that was going to make it onto mine. I didn't think Evil Dead was going to make it onto yours. That's fucking dope. I love your number 1.
Thanks, man. Because
I do.
If I was going to go with the honorable mention, it would be from that same Evil Dead, the cutting of the cheek in the bathroom.
The cheek.
Like, and that's one of the good parts about this, because we kind of wanted to gush about other scenes too. But dude, your list, it's always so crazy, because even the ones that I don't know and you talk about them, I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'm just listening like it's another fucking podcast. So, like, the 2 that I never heard of are found fucking wild, dude. So, hey, very nice, man. I wasn't expecting Saw at all, ever on the list from you, to be honest with you. But to see fucking Saw 3 of all movies,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Golf claps, golf claps.
Golf claps for you, too. Golf claps all around. So there's no real easy way to segue into this. As you all know, at the end of the show, we kind of like just talk about whatever
Life,
other shit. Because we're put a button on that, right? That's our.
Unless you got any other scenes that come to mind that are like.
Not really. Like, I mean, of course, you got your standard fare, like you said, Jason, Freddy. Yeah. They're, the arrow to the fucking neck.
I was gonna say. Michael Myers stabbing the dude up on the wall with the longest butcher knife known to man
ever, and most sustainable butcher knife known to man too, because to hold that motherfucker's weight that deep, that long. I
wonder what brand that was.
Yeah, I wonder. That was probably fucking Craftsman, bro. It's probably from fucking Sears, and that shit doesn't exist anymore, man.
Oh my gosh.
Those products were tough.
You got any scenes from Smile?
Oh, Smile. The fucking
oh my gosh, just the cut in the neck.
The cut in the neck at the beginning and shit. Yeah. That was a fucking good one. I like that one. Golf claps to you.
Golf claps.
Yeah, man. What else do we got? What else can you think of real quick? Probably The Orphan.
Oh, the fucking you talking the pipe to the back of the head scene?
Yeah.
That one? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Bro,
Freddy vs. Jason, folding the dude
backwards.
Ugh.
Rob Zombie's Halloween, when the fucking when Michael Myers beats the fucking kid.
Yep. With the tree branch.
When kid Michael Myers just goes fucking insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie remake.
Oh god, and when he destroys the fucking nurse in the second one at the beginning of the movie when he breaks out of the mental institution, and of course Halloween, not Ends. The one before Ends, when he destroys all the fucking firemen at the beginning of the movie.
Dude turns into a Dynasty Warriors character.
Man.
That's another shout out to an old ass game.
Yeah, it is. Fucking dope game though. Sega Genesis at the beginning.
Jesus. Weird way to go off on that. Dynasty Warriors was actually a fighting game when it first came out.
It was like a crowd fighting game.
And then, no, it was like Tekken. It was Tekken with weapons and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then when Dynasty Warriors 2 came out, it turned to what it became for the rest of the franchise.
Yeah.
But yeah. You want to talk about August 24th?
Yeah, let's talk about August 24th. That is... We have a fucking very weird...
Web
of
connecting
things for August 24th. The first one being Cody's birthday, August 24th. That shit's rough every fucking year.
Yep.
And as you said, November 16th, the day he passed. Those 2 days are days that are like always going to be heavy on my mind, especially considering the 18th is when my mom passed away. So the 18th, I get my mom passing away. 24th is Cody's birthday. Like, there's a lot, in there. But then Dance Gavin Dance releases their first song in over a year and a half.
One of our favorite bands.
One of our favorite fucking bands. And it's a tribute song to Tim, the bassist that passed away a couple years ago. So we already had those feelings because we were remembering Cody's life.
Yep.
We were remembering all the fun. We were remembering all that shit. Those lyrics definitely invoked a lot of like happier times. Even though it's a tribute song, like it made me remember a bunch of crazy shit. Like, it made me remember, the fateful Call of Duty night.
Yep.
It made me remember
how you and I basically
how
met.
me and you met. It made me remember fucking Ma and Bruce, like, getting us cheeseburgers out of the window from their old place. A lot of just really fun fucking times.
Hell yeah.
With Mr. Codizzle. What are some of your favorite Cody moments?
Oh man, I could go on forever about that shit. But just him just playing video games with him. Me and him playing Call of Duty for all them years.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, he's another reason why I played horror video games.
Right.
Because oh my goodness, it came out on the PlayStation 2. We talked about it like once a long time ago on Horror Wars. It was you were in a prison, and it was third person. I forget what it's called, Tormented or something. I don't remember. But it was...
Manhunt.
No, it was a Manhunt. Oh my god, that should be a fucking...
Right.
An episode.
Right.
I forget what it was called, but it basically took place in a prison. It was a horror video game. And I remember Cody rented it from Blockbuster. And it was so scary, even he couldn't play that shit. And he's also the reason why I took a re-interest in the Resident Evil franchise for video games, because back when Resident Evil 4 only came out on the GameCube...
The Suffering?
The Suffering, yep.
Okay.
The Suffering. Wow. Shoo. But, Resident Evil 4 was on the GameCube. Yep, that's exactly the game.
Nope.
The Suffering.
Okay.
It was on the GameCube, and I didn't have one. All I've
Yep.
ever had was PlayStation stuff. And I used to go over to his house, and we would play that, and I used to think it was the coolest shit, but he's another reason why I got into horror video games.
Yeah. He and I, like, you two had like an unspeakable fucking bond.
Yeah.
You guys were best friends. And still are. Cody, and I've said this plenty of times, he was a little brother type figure to me. Not in like a way of like, oh, that's my little bro right there. But like, I hung out with Chris all the time. I knew that family very well, And when Cody and Bruce became involved, obviously, that was a package deal right there, And over the years as Cody was growing up, he and I had a lot more in common. Yeah. I've said it like he was the bratty little brother before. Oh, can I go, guys?
Yeah,
no, man, you can't. We're going to go get fucking high. You can't go. You know what I mean? But we really bonded over wrestling. Like, really bonded over wrestling. And that brings us to the final point of August 24th. Bray Wyatt passed away unexpectedly, like super unexpectedly.
And I think you sent me the news about that right after you sent me the Dance Gavin Dance song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like almost immediately after.
Yeah. And that's so fucking wild.
Yeah.
Basically what happened was, I'm going to keep it short, Mike Rotunda is IRS, Bray Wyatt's dad, called Paul Levesque, Triple H, and said, hey, Wyndham passed away. And Triple H was like, what do you want me to do with it? You want me to go live? What do you want? How do you want it to happen? There's a fucking dog barking in the background. Neighbor's dog. So Triple H goes public with it, lets everybody know that Wyndham Rotunda passed away, Bray Wyatt. And then about 2 hours later, I would say, Sean Ross Sapp, I think his name is, from the Fightful, he was able to report from the family what happened to Bray. And that is, he had got COVID back in February going into March. And he was supposed to go against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. But that COVID exacerbated a heart problem.
Oh, wow.
And from the basically end of February all the way up until July, he was fighting for his life. He was supposed to be gearing up for his return, but on August 24th, as we already said, he unexpectedly died. He had a heart attack. So because he had gotten COVID back at the end of February, and it exacerbated a heart issue that led him to passing literally right before he was supposed to get ready to return. So it hit hard. It sucked because Cody was a big fan of the cult leader Bray Wyatt, the Follow the Buzzards, the Swamp God and the rocking chair and Sister Abigail and all that shit.
One of the coolest kind of characters for WWE.
Cody was a huge fan of that, and when Bray passed, it just really fucking hit because, he's 36 years old, he's got 4 kids, he's young, and he didn't really know that he had this heart problem, and because of fucking COVID, it just got him, you know what I mean? So August 24th was a mix of fucking emotions, like super big emotions, because you want to celebrate the happiness that was the time that we had with Cody. The song kind of makes you feel that, but then if you think about the Bray Wyatt stuff, the song also makes you feel bad because of Bray Wyatt too. Like it's crazy how everything interconnects with like our lives.
Weird. It's so weird.
And different points of our lives and shit. It's just it's really crazy. And I know we say it often, but I love you, bro.
Love you too,
I do,
dude.
man. And we don't know how long you have on this planet. Cody was taken from us way too soon. Bray was taken from us way too soon. Tim was taken from us way too soon. Tim Furyk, the bassist of DGD. Like, it's crazy. And, rest in peace to all 3 of them. Rest in fucking power to all 3 of them. Cody, we fucking love you.
Always will, dude.
Always will. We can't say that for Tim and Bray because we didn't know
them personally.
But
it's just sad.
It's devastating because, like, what they've left behind, I guess you could say.
And they're part of stuff that we've enjoyed to this day.
This day. So, yeah, you're going to feel that pain.
DGD was, like, the first real band that I resonated with.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first band that I truly, like, fell in love with.
Yeah. And you also really loved Bray Wyatt when he was doing that shit, too. So, I mean...
So they got hurt for me, too,
Yep. So there's no other way to really segue into the end of this, but fucking Little Nightmares 3.
Oh, yeah, dude. on a brighter topic, at least a video game.
Let's end this on a fucking good note.
I love video games.
One of our personal... most recent, I guess, favorites of talking for horror video games is the Little Nightmares franchise.
Yep.
It's got a mobile game. I forget what that one's called. But, we have Little Nightmares 1 and 2.
Yep.
Little Nightmares 1 does have DLC. 2 DLC, I think. And then just Little Nightmares 2 is just base game.
Right.
Little Nightmares 3 got announced at Gamescom last week.
Like right at the end of Gamescom too.
Yeah.
I fucking love that franchise, man.
It's
so cute.
And it's finally gonna have co-op.
Yep.
The other, Little Nightmares 2, you have an AI partner, but
yeah, this one's gonna be person-to-person co-op.
You can have a co-op, but I'm sure you can play just single player and
still love it. Yeah.
It'll probably work the same way as Little Nightmares 2, but I'm excited, dude, because I think the original company that made that game actually either sold it or lost the rights to it or something. I forget. Yeah. And I think another company's picking it up.
A better company.
But it looks fucking fantastic. Yeah. It keeps you in that weird ass world.
Yep.
And I want to say a shout out to another YouTube channel called Super Horror Bro. He kind of covers those games because Little Nightmares is a horror type of game where nothing's explained. There's no voice actors. It's just this weird ass world you're thrown into. Yep. So I would say definitely give it a look if you can. Yeah. You said you've played the first.
I played the first one. Yeah, I didn't play the second one. I don't remember which one's on Game Pass. If either of them are on Game Pass, right? Both of them are? Okay.
I'm not sure about the DLC though.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that, later on. But yeah, I'm super excited to get into it, and then I don't know if there's gonna be crossplay, but we might not have to worry about crossplay before the end of 2023. Really? So we'll find out. We'll find out. And little sprinklings right there. So do we have anything else other than the reveal of episode 51?
In a couple weeks we're getting Mortal Kombat 1's release.
Yep.
How's the beta for that?
That netcode is amazing.
Top notch.
Bro, fighting games are so good. And I'm glad because they've released a lot of trailers.
Yeah,
and
a lot.
the changes are great, and people don't realize that Mortal Kombat is technically horror.
Yep,
So-
and we've talked about that quite a few times in the archives.
So that's about it for like gaming that I can think of right now for horror. So
Okay. Is that pretty much all we got?
yeah, let's get into revealing the next episode.
All right, so the next episode of Horror Wars.
Horror Wars.
We are post episode 50.
Oh yeah, and we're still going strong.
Yeah, still going strong. We still got like 40 more episodes to go. Easy. And that's just of like main remakes versus originals or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of niche ones in there too. So episode 51, we are doing Quarantine/Wreck.
Shaky cam film.
Both in a apartment complex.
Yep.
Zombie outbreak, gonna be wild. And then
I'm excited for that.
we're doing Blair Witch, because it is the closest thing to a shaky cam situation, whatever that we can think of, I guess.
Wasn't Blair Witch a pioneer?
No, Blair Witch basically ripped off Grave Encounters, but we'll talk about that. We've already talked about that.
Yeah, it's also
I won't be there for that.
Also, Blair Witch is one of those films that you could say is probably an iconic movie because everyone brings
Right.
up horror.
Right. Yeah, Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, Blair Witch Project.
Yep. So we'll see you 2 and 2.
Shout out Chuck Woolery.
Shout out Chuck Woolery for this little broadcast. And then we'll see you next week for Horror Wars.
Horror Wars.
But thank you for coming to
Horror Tube, featuring the list of doom. I am Josh.
And I'm Job. Or I'm Rosh. And I'm Job.
And I'm Job? I'm Rosh.
You're Rosh, I'm Job, yeah. I'm Rob. He's Josh, as he said. We love you.
Yep. See you in 2 and 2.
See you 2 and 2.
Bye.
Bye. Shut the fuck up.
2 and 2. Be right back.